Good morning. My name is Major Rafael Hernandez. I am the Squadron Executive Officer for 3rd Squadron 278 Armored Cavalry Regiment. This is an information brief, and the topic that we will be covering is relevance. The photo you see here is a 3-star general addressing the troops at the National Training Center, NTC. When our squadron commander addresses our troops, he always says, "You are the most relevant organization in the Army National Guard." What he is saying is 3 different items here. The first is that as an ABCT, there are fewer ABCTs in the Army National Guard than there are other maneuver elements. Number 2 is that the SRM, the readiness cycle that we are in, is a 4-year cycle as opposed to a 5-year cycle that most maneuver elements are in as well. And the third, and probably the most important reason he says this is, unlike coin operations in Iraq, Afghanistan 10, 12 years ago, is that the threat today, the near peer adversary threat that we face, is very relevant to an ABCT, Armor Brigade combat team. The table of contents today will cover the purpose, define relevance, list the 9 intellectual structures, give 2 examples, go into a military brief, and then end with a conclusion. The purpose. The purpose of this information brief is to explain the importance of relevance as an intellectual standard and to apply it as a leader during military briefs. What is relevance? Relevance means that everything included is important, that each part makes a difference. If something is focused on what needs to be said, there is relevance. Intellectual standards. There are 9 intellectual standards, relevance being one of them. The others include clarity, accuracy, precision, depth, breadth, logical, significance, and fairness. The first example I would like to share with you today is one at the National Training Center, NTC, in 2018. Our squadron just conducted the defense, was maneuvering north and going into the movement to contact. During the movement to contact, the squadron came to an obstacle, so we had to make the decision on whether to breach the obstacle or bypass the obstacle. Of course, the staff began the MDMP process, but the commander looked over to the S2 and asked him specifically, is the enemy on the objective, does that look like it's the main body of the enemy, or does that look like it's a reconnaissance element of the main body of the enemy? The S2 unfortunately could not give him a clear answer. He was giving him answers about the icons on the JCR and other issues with the technical issues that he was having. What it all boiled down to is the commander was trying to get advice from the staff so he could start processing the information of the enemy in the obstacle. So what I want to mention is that the commander did not receive a clear guidance from the S2. Information was not relevant. Therefore, it did not give the commander a clear picture of whether to bypass the obstacle or to breach the obstacle. The second example that I want to share with you today is the example in Baghdad, Iraq in 2009 and 2010. The organization that we belonged to was a joint organization, included the Army National Guard, Air Force, civilian contractors, and specific agencies as well. The military units actually did very well. We had information briefs weekly, and the military organizations actually did really well conducting the military information briefs. The civilians and even the agencies, not so much. Mainly because the information they would provide during the information briefs was either no change or the information that we have will be given to the director only. So the military organizations were processing information, or lack of information, I should say, which was not relevant to any of the organizations that were conducting the missions on the ground throughout Baghdad. Military briefs must not only have the correct style and be correct, but they must also have relevant briefing aids. And what I'm talking about here specifically is analog and digital. Analog aids can include blackboard, butcher paper, white papers, and many other items, while digital can include the JCR, it can include PowerPoint, Excel, and other items as digital. So, conclusion, relevant information enables organizational leaders and staff to exercise command and control and allows troops to begin conducting troop leader procedures. What this means to me in my own words is that relevant information during information briefs allows the commander and the staff to make timely decisions, and it allows the troops, relevant information allows the troops to not only conduct their TLPs, but it allows them to begin their priorities of work and begin movement. And this concludes my presentation.